Nothing spectacular or anything, nothing I would say memorable, but for 2 hours and 20 minutes of your time, I think this movie is worth your time for what it is if you're huge crime thriller fans out there. What is up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. This is OCD Movie Reviews. My name is On the Brinker, and today I'm going to review the latest crime thriller film, and that film is Crime 101. This movie is directed by Bart, Layton and stars Chris Hemsworth, Mark Ruffalo, Halle, Keoghan, Nick Nolte, and Monica Barbaro. An elusive thief played by Chris Hemsworth eyes his final scores, encounter disillusioned insurance broker at her own crossroads. As their paths intertwine, a relentless detective played by Mark Ruffalo trails them, hoping to thwart the $1 million heist they are planning. So we got the latest crime film that is directed by Bart Layton, who directed American Animals, which I have not seen, but I heard really good things about the movie. But the trailers really do impress me with this movie. This movie has a stacked cast. There's a lot of people in this movie, but also I like crime thriller films. I think there's a lot of great crime thriller films out there, and I gotta say, we haven't got a crime thriller in theaters for a pretty long time. So I was interested in this movie, not expecting anything spectacular when it comes to this movie, but I really do love this cast. The trailers really do intrigue me, so I was expecting this to be a really good crime thriller film. And I gotta say, Crime 101 is a decent crime thriller film. Nothing spectacular or anything, nothing I would say memorable, but for 2 hours and 20 minutes of your time, I think this movie is worth your time for what it is if you're huge crime thriller fans out there. I would absolutely say the cast in this movie is fantastic in this film. Chris Hemsworth does a really good job in this movie, playing this jewel thief that is very mysterious. He has a past that is explained in this film, and he's one of those jewel thieves that doesn't want to hurt people. He just wants to do his job and get it over with, and I thought Chris Hemsworth plays that role really freaking well. I wish we could have explored a bit more within his character when it comes to his backstory, but for what he is given, I think Chris Hemsworth does a really good job in the film. Also, Halle does a really good job in this movie, playing this insurance broker for rich people, and she has a bit of chemistry with Chris Hemsworth in the film, and I thought Halle does a really good job in the film. I would say Keoghan in this film is so over the top in this movie and really menacing in the film. Whenever he shows up in the film, he's sort of like the over-the-top aspects of the film. He's sort of like the big threat in the film, and I thought Keoghan does a really solid job in the film. Even though there are times that he's way too over-the-top, I thought the performance that he is given, he does a great job in the film. But easily the best thing about this movie, in my opinion, when it comes to the cast, is Mark Ruffalo. He is the best thing about this movie, playing this detective that is after Chris Hemsworth, basically connecting the dots of the crime patterns that Chris Hemsworth is doing, and I thought Mark Ruffalo does a really brilliant job in this film, and I think his plot aspects is what made me very entertained throughout the film. I thought Mark Ruffalo does a really excellent job in this film. The rest of the cast are good for what they're given. Like, Nick Nolte is in this film, which I did not know that. He is good in this film. Monica Barbaro, for what she is given, she's also really good in the film. But I gotta say, I love the direction that Crime 101 gives us. I think the cinematography and the direction that Bart Layton does with this film, I thought does a really good job with it. I think the action-ish scenes in this film is really well done in this film. It's not really much of an action movie, it's more of a crime thriller, but there are some really intriguing action scenes in this film that's actually filmed very well. There are some really great filmed car chase scenes that I was literally very intrigued from it, and I gotta say, the opening scene itself in this film just felt like an overall movie on its own. It felt so intriguing, so well directed, and I think the way that this film opens up and the way the car chase scenes are presented, it's really well done in this film. Now, do I think the plot is something spectacular or memorable about the film? I wouldn't say so. The plot of this film is something that we've seen in a lot of crime thriller films before. You can really tell that Crime 101 is inspired a lot from movies like Heat and all that stuff. But for what this movie is from its pacing for 2 hours and 20 minutes long, I was intrigued by it. I wasn't like saying, oh, okay, I'm going to remember this film. This is like my favorite film of the year. But within the plot of this film, this is a dialogue-driven film. I was invested throughout. I was not bored. I think the pacing in this film is really well done in the film. But the plot is very familiaric. I think it's one of those things that you've seen a lot of times in other crime films before. So if you just want a simple crime thriller film, I think Crime 101 would definitely do that for you. But I would say my biggest issue within this film is absolutely some subplots in the film that I just felt like, yeah, it has sense why it's in the movie, but it's not as interesting as others. Like Monica Barbaro's character, she plays like the love interest to Chris Hemsworth in the film. I think her performance is good in the film, but her plot aspect with Chris Hemsworth is the most uninteresting part about this movie. And like I said with Barry Keoghan, he goes way too over the top in some scenes, even though I do think he's really good in the film. There are times in the film where the film goes a bit too over the top that I'm like, okay, it just does not fit in with the tone that Crime 101 is trying to give us. So I literally walked out of Crime 101 thinking, okay, there's nothing too memorable about the film, but this film doesn't feel like a waste of time. That's the best thing to describe this movie. It's nothing memorable, it's something we've seen a lot of times before, but it's a film that's really well paced and well directed, and it doesn't feel like a waste of time for me. But just nothing saying, okay, this is my favorite movie of the year or anything. It's just, yeah, it's a pretty solid watch. So overall, guys, Crime 101 is a very solid crime thriller film that's very well directed. The car chase scenes are very well done. The heist scenes, for what they're given, is really well done in the film. The acting in this film is really fantastic from Chris Hemsworth, Mark Ruffalo, especially Barry Keoghan, Halle Berry. Everyone does a really good job in the film. The plot is very familiaric. I think we've seen it a lot of times before. You can definitely tell this movie is inspired by a lot of other crime heist films. It just felt like an old school crime thriller film that we've seen before, but it's not a waste of time. I still think it's a very intriguing film. There are some intense moments. There are some really interesting moments that the film brought out. There are some subplots that I felt like it's just there to kind of try and follow the characters a bit more. Like, I understand why they're in the film, but they're not as interesting as, I would say, the main plots of the film. I would definitely say Mark Ruffalo's plotline in the film is the thing that made this film worth watching. I think it's very intriguing to watch, but I don't know, Crime 101 is very well directed. It's a very intriguing crime thriller film, but it's nothing spectacular, nothing memorable about it. It's just a solid good time. So I'm going to create a new rating system. I'm going to replace the matinee price rating with a completely different rating because I feel like the matinee price rating felt a bit too American and I live in Australia. So I'm going to do my own version of the matinee price rating. So I would say for Crime 101, I wouldn't say go rush and see this film, but definitely check out. That is my new rating system for the matinee price rating. It's just don't rush, but definitely check it out when you can. That's like what this rating system means. I would suggest, yeah, go check out Crime 101, but just don't rush out and see this film. So guys, that is my review for Crime 101. Let me know what you think of this film in the comments below. Do you like the film, hate the film? And what is your favorite crime thriller film? Let me know down in the comments below. Make sure you guys follow me on social media links down below. Keep contact with me and make sure you guys subscribe to my channel. Notify for my latest movie reviews and other movie related content. Thank you guys so much for watching and have a nice day.